welcome back to Beerfield Fantasy Football. I am your on the spot, trying not to be awkward host, Dan Theory, brought to you by.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe I just wanted to listen to the whole song?
No, I was very confused. I'm like, I don't know. Did I piss him off some way? This is his way of spiting me.
No, I've just turned in 11 hours of overtime this week already, and
already
it's Wednesday. Yeah,
sorry,
since
man.
Sunday. I over 12 and a half hours today, and it was 10 yesterday, and I worked a whole week on Monday. I'm pretty sure that I started Monday on Monday morning, and when it ended, it was Friday. Except it was still only Tuesday. So, I'd say I'm in need of a beer, but I drank so much bourbon last night that I don't know that I am, but that's what we do here. So, yeah, welcome to Beerfield Fantasy Football. We don't have anything planned. We're going to wing it.
Yes.
Because I honestly have not had time to write a freaking show script.
No, you've been working an asinine amount of hours. I just got off work. Something important's happening in the world, so if you live under a rock, you probably still know.
Indeed. I was trying to come up with something good there, but I got nothing. Is it the Will Fuller trade rumors?
I'm so upset. I blame Fantasy Life app. This is almost as good as me breaking news Antonio Brown has been suspended. Remember that like 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
You were just foreshadowing. You were really, really breaking that news.
That just happened. The Fuller thing was apparently he tweeted out something that he was being traded, and that was all I saw. I was trying to be all like cool and stuff, and it just failed completely at it. So, I mean, what else is new?
I was talking about your Antonio Brown announcement that he was being suspended 2 years ago, and really you were just foreshadowing what was to come.
That's right. I'm so good. I'm so good. I was a year ahead.
You were a year ahead.
I was too good.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Sad.
What's fueling Beerfield?
We're not doing transitions today. Transitions are for people with energy.
Right.
So, yeah, this beer was given to me by my boss. I am drinking Black Walnut, which is an ale with black walnuts. It's very aptly named. It's called Black Walnut, and it's an ale with black walnuts. From Pioneer River Brewing.
Okay.
So
I'm not familiar with them.
They're a small little Ozarks brewery, apparently.
Okay.
So this is brewed with, it actually says, Ozark well water, malted barley, wheat, black walnuts, hops, and yeast, which, hops and yeast and, yeah, kind of a requirement for beer, so.
Brew with hops and yeast. Well, you're not fooling us there.
Yeah. Good to know.
Good to know. Thanks.
What do you got?
We had talked about it. I wasn't sure if we were gonna do it, but I opened up the bottle and I can't put the cap back on. So it's Spotted Cow from New Glarus.
Oh shit! Hold on. Let me see if I got one of those cold. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Fill time.
I'll keep talking. So for those of you who are unaware who New Glarus is, they're out of Wisconsin. They are very well famous for being one of the few breweries, if not the only brewery, that is required to not, or that it's against the law if you purchase one of their, it's against the law to buy one of their products outside of the state of Wisconsin. Basically, or no, it's against the law to sell one of their products outside of the state of Wisconsin if you're a restaurant, bar, or whatever. As someone who lives close to the border of the Minnesota-Wisconsin line, that would often make trips out there to grab some New Glarus. Spotted Cow was one of my favorites. This was pre-craft beer time for myself. So I'm drinking Spotted Cow. Hopper, we'll see if he's got one cold. Again, they're out of Wisconsin. Spotted Cow is a pseudo cream ale to it. One of the more popular beers. And oddly enough, one I get asked about all the time in Illinois.
What'd you talk about?
The breaking news of Antonio Brown getting suspended. No.
Okay, good.
Did you find one cold?
I didn't. I threw it in the freezer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this. I'm going to do a beer review on it. And here at a timer. So here in about 20 minutes, I'll go up and grab it, and then we'll do the combo review because I can't leave you hanging.
You are a goddamn MVP right now. That's all I hear. You're just gonna. Not only are you gonna have the least amount of energy, you're gonna find a way to just carry us through this whole fucking shit show.
I'm going to try. All right. News that I'm reading straight off of Roto World because I didn't prep a script. Brandon Ayuk on the reserve COVID list. He's going to miss Thursday's Week 9 game, and I don't know what they have left.
Kendrick Bourne were both at high risk when someone on the team got COVID. It was Kendrick Bourne. So no Trent Williams, no Debo, who's already slated to miss the game. No Ayuk, no Kendrick Bourne. Right now, it's Trent Taylor and Richie James are your 1 and 2.
And potentially Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed. What's the fuck? Dwelly, the other fucking
Ross Dwelly. Yep. And then McKinnon, probably.
Yep. And JaMychal Hasty.
Yeah, a lot of Hasty, too. It's going to be interesting. Not good. Packers by a lot. Kenyon Drake held out of practice Wednesday dealing with a potential high ankle sprain. So Chase Edmonds is going to get probably the bulk of the work here next week.
Yeah, I mean, you might see some Eno Benjamin sprinkled. I haven't heard any news about anybody else brought up from the practice squad or signed.
No, it would be Eno Benjamin. And Eno Benjamin's named no, and probably not a bad thing to pick up either, getting change of pace work. Smaller back, for real. Really small back, but very shifty, very athletic.
Yeah, and he put it on weight for the combine to weigh in at a respectable weight for his size. We don't really know how that's affected his actual 40 time. He is fast.
He is very fast.
He was undersized. Basically he went the Ronald Jones route, but he did it a lot quicker. So we'll see how this plays out. But we both like Benjamin, and the Cardinals like to use multiple backs.
Yep. Alvin Kamara is going to play Week 9 against the Bucks. He was dealing with a foot injury. Matthew Stafford, who's on the reserve COVID-19 place, is eligible to play Week 9 against the Vikings if he's able to test negative for the remainder of the week, so keep an eye on that. Giants claim Dante Pettis off of waivers. He was released from the Niners. Not a bad pickup for a team that's looking for a pop.
I mean, they need, with Golden Tate effectively trying to write his release papers as we speak. Pettis could be, as you said,
I think he'll get a shot. Yeah.
I mean, he had a chance. I mean, he, as most people will tell you, he looked good his rookie season. This was, of course, without Jimmy Garoppolo, and it never quite worked out with San Francisco. So, these fresh starts are not bad for these players.
They chose wrong. Not a guy like Pettis, though, who came and showed out and then pissed off Kyle Shanahan and never earned that back. So, Jordan Wilkins limited in practice. He had a big Week 8. If he can't go, it's going to be more for Jonathan Taylor. But Jordan Wilkins looked good.
Just fucking gross. I want to know how hurt he actually was.
Yeah.
And if this is not just some excuse. I mean, Taylor has struggled to start, and that's putting it pretty lightly.
Yeah. We're going to skip a lot of these limiteds because we could go on and on with this.
Yeah.
That's what Sunday's for.
Exactly.
The Packers are in a bit of a pickle, by the way. Aaron Jones questionable for Week 9 with his calf injury. Jamal Williams is
ruled out.
COVID.
Yep.
So he's ruled out. So it's Dexter Williams and Tyler Irvin. In a game that they should be scripted to win.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just expect them to be just heavy throwers of the football at this point.
And and I think they will be. The Niners do have a good run defense. So
yeah, it's never good to be too one-dimensional, regardless of how good you are at one spot. So I'll be interested to see how the Niners respond to this, but it's the same way for both teams. But they're both battling just, getting people on the field. Green Bay, as you said before, they should win this game easily by double. So
Saints are getting a lot of people back. Kamara not practicing, but Callaway is back. Sanders is back. Michael Thomas back. All three of them are practicing.
I'm assuming all three will play. Thomas, we'll have to see if he's a full practice on Friday. That's a very clear sign that he's good to go.
Indeed. Godwin, full participant walkthrough. Just picking up some of these as we go.
He didn't catch any passes, so it's not quite determined yet. I wouldn't get too excited just yet.
Yeah, it was a walkthrough. Cowboys are losing their punter, which is bad for them.
Do a lot of it. Jake Luton's the starter this week for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Expected to throw downfield more, so maybe DJ Chark will actually get catchable targets.
Quote, has a better arm, end quote. Minshew's out with a broken thumb. Yeah.
I don't see much. I think that's about it.
I think it is too. Antonio Callaway will be back for the Dolphins this week.
After they just traded away Isaiah Ford and then traded for Dwayne Washington because Myles Gaskin's out for 3 games. That one is, I guess, worth mentioning.
Yeah, Gaskin being out for 3 games and Dwayne Washington being added. Jordan Howard, expect him to be active, though.
Yeah, I don't think Brady even put in a practice in today. Howard, Washington may be thrusted into his role right away if Brady can't go as well.
Here we go. Ben DiNucci has been benched. Cooper Rush and Garrett Gilbert going to compete to start against the Steelers. So Cooper Rush is back.
He's one of your bays.
He is one of my bays.
He's one of your bays. That's important.
Yep. I think that Gilbert we kind of know, but Rush should be an upgrade.
I mean, it's. I don't think anything could be a downgrade.
Well,
to what DiNucci put out there in the last game and a quarter.
That's true. DiNucci was not impressive. Okay, well that will wrap that up. Hey, there's a little exercise I wanted to do that
sure
I think we should play with, and it's called "Are You Surprised?" So what I want to do here is I want to look at the fantasy rankings so far. And just kind of talk about some things that jump out as surprising as we're about halfway through the season. So we'll start off looking at quarterbacks, and then we'll just kind of run through the other position groups here. So looking at quarterbacks at the top, not a whole lot surprising by what's there, but what's not there is Lamar Jackson, who right now is actually, let me sort by points per game instead of total points.
Are you using Fantasy Pros?
Yeah. Lamar Jackson right now, quarterback 18.
I mean, it's safe to say he's been one of the bigger, at least in terms of ADP value, he's been one of the most disappointing players. I mean, him and Mahomes were very popular, 3rd round picks in 1 QB leagues. And it, to the point where a lot of people who were against early quarterbacks were on board with this because of the supposed massive leap between the other quarterbacks. Jackson the rushing really hasn't been there. The passing, we all knew that the efficiency was going to go down. It's gone down more than even we expected. Marquise Brown's cryptic tweeting out shit about getting the football more, and he's like top 5 in targets downfield, but he's only had 5 catchable targets of passes over 20 yards. So
sorry,
not looking good so far.
12. I was looking at the wrong list. Quarterback 12 by points per game, but still not where you expected for what you spent on him. And quite honestly, him being limited in the passing game is hurt, and he hasn't been as dynamic in the run game because guess what? Teams have adjusted, and they've figured out you need to take away the run from the Baltimore Ravens. And that's exactly what they've done. We saw Mark Ingram fall off of a cliff. Gus Edwards hasn't been great. J.K. Dobbins has been passable. Lamar Jackson, not really getting it done with his legs either. Not getting it done with the arm. So, kind of a fall from grace from grace for him. The league has adjusted, and he will need to adjust after that.
Not having your running backs healthy doesn't help either. It's putting more of an emphasis as a passer, which is probably not helping.
Yep. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert, QB5, he's ahead of names like Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Herbert's been the biggest surprise. I mean, we're not going to sit there and say that we were, Justin Herbert truthers. We recognize the situation was good for him from a dynasty perspective when it comes to your rookie drafts, but it was kind of, on the fence of whether or not he would get actual playing time this year. And you saw what happened to Tyrod, and unfortunately that did. And
yeah,
we got to see the uttermost surprise. I haven't been this shocked, in a long time. I'm glad I'm wrong about a player because I've really enjoyed watching him play.
Yeah, and I never hated Herbert. I thought he needed some development time. I thought he landed in a good situation where him and Jacob Eason kind of were kind of same tier for me, to where it was not immediately, which is what you were going to get. You knew you were getting Burrow immediately. You knew you were probably going to get Tua immediately. So you go beyond that, you're looking at Herbert and Eason. I feel like
it hurts just because
it
hurts. Got, bottlenecked, and
right.
We knew that Herbert, he was our post draft 3. It made sense. You knew eventually he was going to see the field.
Just didn't expect him to be as good as he was.
I mean, I don't think anybody has. And while he's struggled at times, the team itself isn't really lent to him. What's been really good though is we got to see what Keenan Allen was with Tyrod for 1 week, and that was fucking disgusting. So thank God, Keenan Allen's averaging like 8 catches a game with him.
Right. The offense is clicking with him, and I think that, you're in good shape with Herbert going forward. I think that he's I don't think this is a flash in the pan thing. He is the real deal.
Yeah.
And you've seen it relatively consistently. All right, let's go look at running back. Gonna look at the overall season. So I don't think anybody's surprised by Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry up there. Zeke Elliott, despite actually let me do sort. So Kamara, Cook, Henry, Aaron Jones are up near the top. James Robinson is your 6th in fantasy points per game, half PPR right now. This is something that I think everybody expected somebody to show out in Jacksonville after Fournette was let go. I don't think anybody knew who. And James Robinson has quietly been very, very good in that role.
I mean, he is the reason why Jacksonville wanted to cut ties with Fournette. You combine that with Raquel Armstead being put on COVID IR. I pray that he is in decent spirits because the guy is struggling to battle through it. Chris Thompson, shocker, hasn't been what he's supposed to be. Well, Robinson's been the darling of this year. I'll be interested to see how Jacksonville handles the running back situation when they kind of hit the reset button at the offseason.
All right. Some other guys that might be a little surprising. I'm going to go sort by regular rank because Fantasy Pros is annoying and doesn't actually reorder things for me. So looking at actual rank halfway through the season, Ronald Jones is the running back 13. Not a lot of people anticipated that. He's looked relatively solid, although Fournette kind of got the better at things on Thursday.
When Fournette plays, it does not look good for Jones. What's helped Jones is that he's been banged up. He got signed late to the team, missed a few games, and Jones looked great. But we saw what we saw on Monday night all it takes is just a bad fumble. And that was it. We didn't see Jones until the second half, and then that was it. He played, 2 drives?
Yeah.
And the rest was Fournette. Fournette's a better pass catcher. He's not a great pass blocker, but neither is Jones. And both are average to above average runners. Fournette's a far better runner, in my opinion, but it's when they both play, it's really disgusting. And Fournette even gets the slate. So if you're going off of just that, I think Jones is a sell high.
I think
Right
so
when he
too.
gets something
I
right
think
about
Jones is sell high and James Robinson could be. I think that Jacksonville does address that position as well.
Jack, question. Hey guys, would you start Dobbins, Breida, or Wilkins this week? Well, Wilkins may not play. Is that right? Is that
Yeah, Wilkins is questionable. So,
so? Is Breida?
yeah, Breida, at least without Gaskin.
Ruined our meal. I got everything
Okay,
right.
there's an ad
except
playing
for the
right now.
plates.
Let's not do that.
Don't get paper plates that'll leave a stain on your pasta knife. Get Dixie Ultra Deep Dish Plates. Extra
What do you? What's the? Oh my god!
Fantasy
That would be the
Pros.
first time that's ever happened to us.
Fantasy Pros, and it said the ad was muted, but apparently it lied, so I had to mute it down.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Awesome. Okay. So remind me again, what was it? I'm sorry, I got completely
No,
distracted.
that's fine. J.K. Dobbins, Matt Breida, or Jordan Wilkins. Jack.
Breida's got your best matchup, I think. Hold on. Let me verify.
Baltimore's got the Colts. I don't.
Yeah.
And then obviously Wilkins has the
Baltimore.
has the
So
Ravens.
Wilkins ain't it.
Yeah.
Even if he's healthy, Wilkins ain't it. Too much against him there. Breida, is I think the answer. It's the best. It's the best matchup. Miles Gaskin's out. He should get first crack at it. Jordan Howard hasn't exactly been anybody's favorite there. Dobbins is not a bad option either.
Dobbins would be my pick, especially if Ingram can't play. You're looking at 66% of the snaps compared to Gus's 32. Gus will likely get the quote-unquote start. That's not really worth much. Dobbins has at times looked a little inefficient, but he's been relatively explosive in the offense.
And you make a good point. It's not a fantastic matchup, but if Ingram doesn't go, you know a little bit more what you're getting than you do at a Burrito without Gaskin there, because Howard will be active, and we don't know. That's probably going to end up being hot hand.
And Dobbins racked up over 100 yards. I mean, they did this to the best run defense in football in Pittsburgh last week. Well, we know that Colts are a good defense. When you do that same thing to a better run defense, you're going to feel a bit better. Dobbins is starting to earn more and more of his role, and I think is easily the pick between these three.
Nope, I agree with you. Okay, yep, I'm sold. The answer is Dobbins. All right, look at some of the other guys on this running back list. Todd Gurley, running back 7. Not
healthy.
He's healthy. They've managed his load, but he's been shown that he can be efficient again in an offense that is good. I mean, it was a change of scenery that you expected to work out, and I think if you drafted Gurley, you've been happy with what you've gotten.
I mean, it's just like what you said. He's getting the touchdowns, which he hasn't had. He didn't really have last year. He's got 2 games over 2 touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns, but that hasn't really been his role. Efficiency hasn't quite been there, but he's got 3 games over 20 rushes. He's got 2 more over 15, no games under 14. So you have his floor. You know his floor. Pass catching, be damn, you wish there'd be more there, but Brian Hill and Edo Smith, or we'll just call him fucking Brian Smith at this point, can fill that role just fine. So
yep,
I agree with you. You're happy. You took Gurley as a late 3rd, early 4th, and he's returning late mid early 2nd value for you.
Yeah, one guy you're not necessarily happy about with what you had to pay in draft capital is Antonio Gibson. A lot of people expected Gibson to take. We aren't surprised by this. And Gibson is coming to his own. I don't want this to be a shit on Antonio Gibson, because he is starting to look better and he is starting to come into his own. But he was a rookie that didn't have a ton of carries, and you drafted him in the 4th round expecting him to come in and put a stranglehold on that job, and that's just not the way that it went down. Again, he is coming into his own, but first half through the season, I don't know that he's necessarily lived up to what you thought you were getting.
Yeah, I mean, he's right now, just in terms of total points, RB20. Again, that's generally health having to do more with it. We knew that he was coming in as a raw prospect with a lot of upside, insane yards per touch in his career in Memphis. 11.9 points per game is respectable. It's that fourth round respectable, but hopefully you weren't the ones taking him early fourth. Hopefully you were able to get him at value, like a lot of people did if they drafted earlier. So a bit disappointed in terms of what could have been as what he's shown, but for some reason Peyton Barber gets love, J.D. McKissick gets love. And Washington as a whole is just a bad offense, so not a lot of scoring upside to him.
Yep. All right, keeping it moving here just a little bit onto wide receivers. Looking at this, Tyler Boyd is the wide receiver 8 is the first thing that really jumps out to me. He's quietly been very, very good. We thought that the Bengals offense was going to progress as the season went on, and as it turns out, they've really got 3 viable wide receivers right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what he's done throughout. He's 2 games over 10 targets, 13 apiece in those 2 games. He's been at 7 or more in all but 2 games. Lowest yard total is 33. That, of course, is week 1 against the Chargers, where a lot of things went wrong in that game for them. Burrow has really settled down. The offense has settled down. You throw in a healthy mix in, and it just helps to balance the team. And I think Zach Taylor has actually figured out his own way, I guess, how to balance everything out. And Boyd's kind of that. He's just a guy that you can trust. He's Jarvis Landry, in a sense where you feel you feel comfortable with his target production, and yet he's undervalued every year.
Robbie Anderson at the wide receiver 11 also is another surprise. We didn't expect him to play second fiddle to DJ Moore in Carolina. Weren't really sure what you were getting, but it's really kind of worked out the other way. Robbie Anderson has gotten the target volume. He's gotten the work. Came in familiar with the offense, and he's sitting at the wide receiver 11 right now. It's a 1A, 1B type of scenario, but it's clear who the A and the B is.
I mean, yeah, you talk about target volume here, 2 games under 6. He's got all but 2 games of 8 or more. I mean, that's what we want. We want volume in fantasy football, and he's on a high-paced offense, the bad defense that plays in a high offensive scoring output division. I mean, what more do you want from your mid to late round sleeper guy? And we've been pounding Robbie Anderson all year long, and he's kind of, that role with DJ Moore has gone back and forth, but doesn't really matter. He's still producing.
Yeah. 2 other guys that I want to talk about in a positive light, and then we'll hit a couple not so positive, but you can talk about these guys in the same breath. CeeDee Lamb and T. Higgins, a couple of rookies that came in. We expected to be blocked, expected to see flashes, didn't expect consistent performance. CeeDee Lamb obviously has the quarterback problems there in Dallas right now. Stayed relatively productive, and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow are looking like a 1-2 punch for years to come.
I mean, what more can you want? He's overtaken AJ Green. Green still has had his target games, but the Bengals throw the football a lot, so he can also be viable. Higgins is
and Justin Jefferson's also right between them, by the way, and they're 21, 22, 23. And Jefferson, you just knew was going to have the opportunity immediately. You didn't really know that about Lamb or Higgins.
Yeah, unfortunately with Lamb, he's going to be stuck in QB purgatory until next year, but Higgins and Jefferson should continue to be very popular, rookie receivers that you throw out every week, as that target volume is going to be there, and they play in offenses that will likely at times have to throw a football a shit ton. It's the same thing we're going to be talking about with hopefully Jalen Reagor in a few weeks, if he can stay healthy.
Yep. Juju Smith-Schuster, a guy a lot of people expected to have a bounce back with Ben back, is kind of been hurt by, he's the 29 right now, kind of been hurt by the fact that there's a lot of options there in Pittsburgh. And, he's not Chase Claypool athletic. Deontay Johnson's gotten the majority of the target volume. Juju's been solid, but not the wide receiver 1 you were hoping you were getting when Ben came back. The other name that kind of jumps out here lower on the list to me is Devontae Parker, who after the breakout last year is kind of more leveled out this season.
Yeah, with Juju, he just hasn't been able to command the volume that Brown could command. And I think that's also, credit them to Deontay Johnson, James Washington, and then the emerging Chase Claypool as being just as equally, viable options for Ben to spread the football. They're not throwing the football as much. The defense is back, one of the best in the league. They don't need to have Ben throw the ball 40 times a game, so you're going to see an offense that wants to spread the football out more. You're going to start seeing less targets on a more consistent basis. And Parker, I guess, is kind of in the same building. We'll see what the change of quarterback looks like, but
Sure.
We can't really tell from last week. I mean, it was a blowout win. Effectively, the Dolphins were up big early, and you didn't need Tua to do much, so that's not shocking to me.
Yep. Looking at tight ends, I think that the only big surprise is Robert Tonyan and his breakout. We are expecting Jace Sternberger, but Tonyan's had a big breakout, and then Hunter Henry has not really produced this year.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of decent games early on, I think, with when they made the switch to Justin Herbert, but I mean, that's quieted down. Tonyan has the 1 3-touchdown game that kind of helped prop up his numbers early on. He's been streamable. That's really all you can ask for. It's very difficult to get more than even a handful of tight ends that can actually be weekly trusted, just given their floor. A lot of guys in that 4 to 40 range kind of just have to hope he gets that touchdown.
Sure. All right. Real quick, who's kicker one? Who do you think is kicker one without looking?
Without looking, who's the guy that just had like 30 points?
There were two of them.
Oh, was two of them, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Brandon McManus was one of them, and the other one was Bass. It was Tyler Bass for the Bills.
Bills. Oh, that's right. That fucking 6 field goals.
Yeah, and McManus did it the week before. So
yeah. I don't think it's one of them though. I think it's someone who's been a little more consistent. Is it the fucking nerdy guy from the Colts?
It is not Rodrigo Blankenship.
I just wish it was.
He is, in terms of points per game, throwing out Aldrick Rosas, who's only played one game. He's the kicker 7.
Okay.
Blankenship is.
Is it Jason Sanders?
Sanders is 6.
Joey Sly?
Sanders has been super consistent. No, Sly's further down than I want to count. He's behind Ryan
okay.
Suckup and Brandon
That's fine.
McManus.
Okay, I'm done guessing kickers.
I'm surprised you didn't guess Justin Tucker. It's not Justin Tucker, but I thought that would be the first thing you'd guess. Younghoe Koo.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes the most sense.
High scoring offense.
Puts up a lot of points.
Yep, Younghoe Koo. And we'll look at defenses too. Who would you guess is the defense 1 in terms of points per game?
The Pittsburgh?
They're 3.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They're 3 by 1.3 points.
Oh, okay.
I would not have guessed this, by the way.
Oh, okay. I have no clue. I don't even know where else.
The Indianapolis Colts are your fantasy
that would have actually
defense
been one of my other guesses.
Yeah. So, there you go. That was a little bit fun. I'm going to do a beer review so I can join Dan in this new Glarus thing. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. First off, I want to say this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
It's good.
If I had walked past a black walnut ale sitting on a shelf, you know what I'm not buying? A black walnut ale. Because I don't think of walnut, that seems like something I want to put in my mouth. But this is really good. It's not overly nutty. It's just got a hint of it that kind of carries through. It's very, very drinkable. It's light, a lot lighter than I thought it would be. Being, black walnut ale, I thought that, it would be done with a darker, heavier ale. I haven't poured it in a glass. It tastes like it's probably closer to a brown ale. But it's not super heavy. It's very light, nutty flavor as you come through it. Malt backbone to it. Not overly hoppy, a little bit dry on the back end. Overall, I could probably drink a 6 of this just sitting by a fire or something like that. It's actually really solid. I mean,
Wow.
I was not expecting big things. I definitely would not have bought this had it not been given to me. But yeah, it's really, really good. So props to them.
Nice.
I'm gonna go grab a new Glarus real quick. If you want to go ahead and intro the line on the Thursday game while I do that.
All right. Yeah. I don't know if you have drops. I don't even remember anymore. All right. Anyways, let's jump to Thursday's game. As if you guys have been listening, there's been just continuously outs for the 49ers. They just lost their top three receivers. Debo was already ruled out. Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne have both been ruled out and have been put on the COVID reserve list, not going to play tomorrow night. That leaves just Trent Taylor, Richie James potentially. Obviously, no Jimmy Garoppolo. This line opened up early at, I believe, 2.5, 3.5 in Green Bay's favor. It's now jumped up to -7. I expect this to potentially get higher, especially if Jones can play. As we're sitting right now, as I just said, Green Bay -7, money line -330 plus 265 for the Niners. Over under of 48.5. The spread feels good. We joke about Green Bay beating them by double-digit points. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers do try to keep this game close. I still believe Green Bay beats them by double-digit points, but it could come later. This game could stay close for longer than expected. As for the over-under, it just depends how much points the 49ers can actually make up from the potential 25-plus from Green Bay. I don't like the over. I'd actually take the under here. Again, it's going to fall on to what Mullins can do with his outcast of wide receivers he has now. So as for the fantasy side of things, Green Bay, Rodgers is still a good play. Obviously, Adams, if you need a tight end streamer, Tunyon is still a good play. They may have Lazard back. He can be activated. He hasn't been activated just yet, though. So keep an eye out on that. And as for the running backs, I wouldn't get cute with Dexter or Tyler Irvin. We don't quite know what the carries are going to shape up to be, and Jones could still play in this game. If he does, obviously you're playing Jones. As for the 49ers side, Hasty might be my only play. Delvin Cook gutted his offense last week. Obviously, Hasty isn't on Cook's level, but he's been the most kind of talented runner we've seen in these last couple of games with them. Hopper, you have anything to add on the Thursday night game?
I mean, I don't know what you already said, but I agree with taking the under. Packers money line and a parlay or even the spread, I'm okay with that as well. I don't think that this is a game. I don't think the 49ers are going to have enough firepower to keep pace in this one. As far as the Packers go, you're obviously playing Devontae Adams. I wouldn't get too cute with any other receivers. If you need a flex play because running backs are kind of decimated right now, Dexter Williams or Tyler Irvin, it'll be a hot hand approach. But, if you're looking at dart throws, the way to go. Irvin did get the majority of the work, I believe, with last week behind Williams. So keep an eye on that. As far as the Niners go, I'm with you. It's probably JaMychal Hasty and not a whole lot else. Without Kittle, you could make an argument for Jordan Reed. He was solid in cleanup duty. They will be playing from behind. So he was solid in the one game he did get to play without George Kittle. So if you're looking for a tight end stream, you could do worse than Jordan Reed. If he's healthy, you got to keep an eye on that, though.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, Ross Tully, they got to throw the football to somebody. Trent Taylor could get just a target play. I think there is some flex value into that. But you got to hope that they can even muster enough production to be worthy. So,
yep. All right, on to Ravens Colts. You got the Ravens favored by 2.5 here. That seems low, but the Colts did just put up 40 somehow. 134 on the money line. Over under on this one, 46.5. This is a game that could weirdly go over.
It's got that feel to it. It's going to depend how quickly I think these teams get going. This could be a grind 'em out team. Two good defenses, two good running games with up and down quarterback play. So
I do like the Ravens in this one, though. We talked about J.K. Dobbins already. I don't know, again, that you're starting a whole lot else. You talked about the gripes with Marquise Brown. Colts are the number one fantasy defense. You know, you're still going to play Lamar Jackson, but outside of him and Dobbins, I don't know I like anything else on Baltimore's side. Andrews, I guess.
yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, I'm there with you. You're obviously playing Jackson.
Yeah, as far as the Colts go, you got to watch the running back situation.
Even then,
Yeah,
I mean, this is still a
It's not
tough
a game.
matchup.
yeah. It's not a great
Hines-
matchup.
I mean, you're in neutral game script based on spread. It's not looking. I mean, you can try to get cute with Hines if you think the Ravens can get up early. Force Rivers and them to Rivers have to check down a bit more, but we've seen wildly different games from Hines this year. So you're still playing. You're still playing with fire there.
Yeah, and the wide receivers, everything's so spread out that there's no point. It's just not a good game for fantasy.
No, it could be a fun game just to watch for football purposes. I am slightly on the Ravens side here. I like the 2.5. That's barely getting. Like the Colts can't even get. Like I figured they maybe could push -1.5 here. The fact that they're underdogs, it's also intriguing though.
Yeah. All right. Panthers Chiefs. Panthers are 10.5 point dogs in this one.
I don't trust it.
I think that the Panthers cover that.
I want to think they can. I do. I can see the Chiefs. I mean, we saw what they did to New York. They just kept running up the score. Like, I know we know Carolina has the firepower to stay up with them.
And CMC should be back.
You would think that would make the offense better.
Right. The over-under on it's 52.5. So
I like the over
yeah,
more so than trying to bet the spread here.
I'd bet the spread. It may be one of those games where you tease it up a little bit.
I do like the idea of, Panthers with a tease there. Get it up to
a 2-touchdown game.
the +17 or however high you want to tease it to, depending on the odds you want to get. So I like that call. I think this is a good Panthers tease line. Maybe for the Chiefs money line and a big parlay.
Unlike Ravens Colts, this is a great game for fantasy.
Yeah, you're literally playing everybody.
You're playing everybody.
Yep.
Watkins can't go. Demarcus Robinson is in. Mecole Hardman had a solid game last week. Tyreek Hill, obviously. For the Panthers, Anderson and Moore, you're not thinking about it. McCaffrey, you're not thinking about it. Teddy's a solid stream again.
That hit the nail on the head. That's it.
All right, Bears Titans. You got a struggling Bears offense. A Titans offense that's been putting up more points, but also a defense that's been allowing more points than they should. For the Bears, I don't know that this is anything other than chalk. It's Allen Robinson and nobody else.
I mean, you probably have to pay Montgomery just because of the health of the running backs, the state of running backs right now. You're not feeling great about
You
it.
don't want to.
Maybe Daryl Moody if
Darnell Mooney. Yeah, Darnell Mooney has
Darnell
been getting
Mooney.
targeted, especially in the end zone. Darnell Mooney is not a bad waiver snipe at this point.
I mean, 6.5 point favorites at over Tennessee. That's generally reflecting a more passing game script for the Bears. As for the over under 46.5, that one I'm staying away from. We don't know what Chicago offense we're gonna get. Tennessee has downplayed their opponents almost every week, though.
They have.
And it's like,
And this is a game where they can just run Derrick Henry. They don't have a reason not to.
yeah, it's not. I mean, they could run into it in what is a good running offense or a rush defense, excuse me. But I mean, it's Derrick fucking Henry. So
Well, and again, with Goldman not playing this year, the Bears, run defense has not been great. been okay.
True.
Not been fantastic. It's not been, shut them down like it has been in previous seasons. So
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on the. Like for me, I'm staying away from this. Derrick Henry. This may be a Derrick Henry game. If I have to bet the over/under, I'm probably leaning under, and just expect a kind of.
This is a good game to fade
Quick game.
Corey Davis and DJ Moore in though, because the pass defense has been good.
Yeah. I mean, you're still playing AJ Brown and Allen Robinson.
Sorry, Corey Davis and AJ Brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that it might be tough. You probably want to stay clear of any streamable options. As you mentioned, Davis, even Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
Who's kind of fallen off the face here.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that. Broncos Falcons. Falcons favored by 3.5 in this one. Ridley remains to be seen if he'll play. Look, this could be another Denver upset.
I mean, any game against Atlanta right now, if the team's not favored, could be an upset. When DraftKings creates their own line of their own odds based around Atlanta giving up a 4-point lead, it's there's a chance for any of these teams to win. I think Atlanta's played better though. I think they're playing better since the coaching change, and I think I would almost be comfortable with the 3.5. With the struggling, Broncos offense, Drew Lock has looked extremely inconsistent, and he keeps
Except
losing
for when
pieces.
he turned on the swag last week.
Yeah, after starting off extremely slow.
Yeah, but what did he do? Which half the game? Are you
Inconsistent.
Are you a glass half full or glass half empty type? Because I'm glass half full on Drew Lock.
I mean, the Falcons is a get-right defense. So if he can get right, if there's any game he's going to get right in, it's this one.
It's a get-right defense, and even though they played a little bit better, it's still a get-right defense. You're starting Melvin Gordon in this one. You can play Lindsey. Judy, not a bad option. Watch Tim Patrick's health, though, for that. Drew Lock's an okay stream in this one. Denver's defense has been playing better. That being said, you're still starting your normal cast of Falcons here. But I do like the Denver money line at plus 166, and I love the 3.5 point spread. I think Denver plays this one close and even potentially even pulls it out.
We're just going to have to be in opposite fences on this one.
That's fine. You hate Drew Lock. I get it. You don't like fun.
I don't hate Drew Lock. I don't love him as much as you do.
You don't like
And then Noah Fant. You're playing Noah Fant. I mean, I like Drew Lock in DFS and GPPs. I do like him in daily fantasy because there is boom upside. Obviously, we just mentioned just to get right defense.
You just don't like
other
fun.
offenses. I don't like fun.
Yep.
I don't like fun.
Texans Jaguars.
Weather. Watch out for weather.
Yeah.
Which also hates fun.
Weather does hate fun.
Because this could be a fun game. It really could be.
Yeah, Jake Luton, you don't know what you're going to get. If they're going to push the ball downfield more, that does bode well for DJ Chark. Go ahead and play James Robinson in this one. As far as Houston goes, easy matchup.
I like this odds on the spread. I mean, 7 points is a lot, but you're getting a rookie
plus
quarterback
106.
we've never seen before.
Well, unless I'm blind, it's plus 106 on that Houston spread. So
yeah, I like
great
that.
odds. I like that too. Yeah, and Fuller and Cooks can still do good things here, and so can Watson. I mean, you're getting a rookie quarterback, and if he's going to push it downfield, he's also going to make mistakes. So defense not a bad stream either there for Houston.
Nope, I like Houston's defense this week. We are in total agreement, at least for this game.
Yep. Washington is favored.
The Giants fucking suck. I mean, I know they held up with Tampa Bay, but that was like Tampa Bay like trying to not be prepared and still finding a way to win that game.
Yep.
I mean, Daniel Jones, he's the next potential, 2 and done. He's going to be, there's a good chance that the Giants are going to end up having to trade him away. He's going to get Josh Rosen.
Well, and Gettleman's going to be gone, so you're going to want next regime will want to bring in their own guy.
Yeah.
That being said, Washington favored by -3. It's another one with good odds on the spread.
So they played each other 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
That game came down to the wire. Obviously, the Redskins lost because Ron Rivera also hates overtime.
You just mentioned a team that doesn't exist.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the wrong team name?
Yeah.
I mean, Washington football team. I apologize, people. I should not be saying. Should be saying shower curtains here. My bad.
Yeah.
Hey, but they get plus 104, so I'm agreeing with you there.
Yep. I think Washington's offense has looked a bit better. Like I said, Antonio Gibson's coming along. Quarterback switch to Kyle Allen has looked good. While New York played close, I still like Washington in this one. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson are starts this week for Washington.
Yeah.
For the Giants, it's Darius Slayton, as it is most weeks. Evan Ingram had a good week, too. You can play Evan Ingram.
I'm going to hate saying this, but Wayne Gallman may also be.
Yeah.
He said back-to-back week with touchdowns. For some fucking reason, Alfred Morris is getting run, but Gallman's he's looked decent.
Gallman?
And he's your main touch getter, on a backfield that's this should be a neutral game script game for the most part. So I don't hate Gallman either. I do think Kyle Allen is a
stream.
Potential stream. Giants defense is a bit better than I think we could give them credit. And it's not like Washington's or either team is going to bring the heat. So I think both defenses are in play. I like them both. I really like them both for DFS as cheap options too.
Yeah. Gallman, the only thing you're right about there is that not high volume for him. So, and it doesn't figure to be in this one either.
It's the same thing for Gibson. They're in the same boat.
Yep. Seahawks, Bills. Seahawks favored by 3. Bills' offense has kind of not been great here the last couple of weeks.
Fuck the Bills. Fuck the Bills. Can't goddamn cover when they should.
Seahawks money line.
Seahawks money line.
Or spread.
I still like the Seahawks spread. I mean, we'll see if Buffalo can actually play up to
I kind of like the
matchup this year.
Kind of like the under in this one too, especially if weather hits. It's a 55-point game.
And with how bad their run defense has been, even with potentially out Chris Carson, who it sounds like he should be back. DJ Dallas looked pretty inefficient last week, but I do like the under call. I can see fireworks. We just assume Seattle's defense is going to give up a lot. But this could also turn into that traditional Seattle game where Wilson is highly efficient, throws some touchdowns, but it's all run based.
It very well could be. That being said, you're not sitting Lockett or Metcalf or Carson or Wilson. And for the Bills, I think that you're okay with, obviously Singletary, Diggs, potentially even Zach Moss if you have to, and Josh Allen. Zach Moss is the interesting one here. It's going to depend a lot for him on game script, but he did have a good week last week. So,
I mean, both running backs were efficient last week. Singletary is just as allergic to the end zone as Clyde Edwards-Helaire is right now, if not more so. Trying to just pull up to see what snap count kind of looks like for them. You're looking at pretty much 50-50. Moss had 3 more snaps to Singletary. 31-28. Well, as I just said, running backs were both somewhat efficient in this game. Moss is a touchdown guy, so you're playing Moss over Singletary until proven otherwise.
Yep. Raiders Chargers. Raiders 1.5 underdogs. Chargers are favorite here.
I kind of like the Raiders, man. In this one, Chargers heartbreaking loss. You let the Drew Lock led Broncos. You let the sway get to you. You give them a DPI to give them that one last hope. This might be it. I do like the Raiders though in this game.
Yeah, I like the Raiders as well. You don't have great odds on the money line, both. You're negative odds for both, basically. So, take that for what it is. Game could go over, honestly.
You'd hope so.
Chargers
Depends
defense
how-
is good, but the offenses look good. Raiders offenses look solid. As far as fantasy goes, for your Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr can start him.
Josh Jacobs, you have to during Waller.
You have to, yeah. For the
Nelson Aguilar, you're probably flexing them in if you need help.
Nelson Aguilar's been a solid option this year, so
Hunter Renfro, potentially, maybe Ruggs and the super home run deep leagues. I mean, if we think this game's going to go over, that means someone's going to be scoring points. So you're playing some flex options here.
yeah, you are. As far as the Chargers go, normal cast of characters there. Renfro's not had a fantastic season.
Is he not? I don't know. I'm just
You're throwing
Rattling
names
off.
out there. Yeah, he's not getting target volume, really. He's been under 7 targets the last 3 weeks. 42 yards in 2 of those games. He did have a touchdown last week, but nothing that you're really going to feel
right home on.
great tossing out there until there's an injury. It's been more so Nelson Aguilar cutting into his work. So,
I mean, he had 2 targets last week, too.
yeah.
He didn't. He gave you a goose egg. So, I mean, if you're going to, your trusted guys, and then if you got to get cute in deep leagues, I think one of these guys could be,
Yep. As for the Chargers,
Dylan.
Mike Williams made an appearance last week, finally.
Hey, he did something.
He did something. Outside of that, you've had this back and forth with Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson. Guess game script's going to be more neutral. That favors Kelly. As far as your wide
So you got-
receivers go,
Jermaine Pope here.
yeah, Troy Maine Pope did some things. He got hurt last week, though, didn't he?
Maybe. I know. I was unfortunate in the middle of work. I couldn't get to see.
Yeah,
all
he
the-
got his clock cleaned. So
7 fucking targets.
yeah. Dolphins Cardinals.
Dolphins Cardinals. This could be fun.
Cardinals favored by 3.5. I think that the Dolphins doing what they did last week was a little bit of a fluke. Defense really stepped up for that one. It wasn't, Tua in the offense for getting that done. As far as Arizona goes, I like the Arizona spread, like the money line. I do think Arizona pulls this one out. For the Dolphins, we kind of talked about the running game. Myles Gaskin going to miss. Going to be a hot hand approach between Burita and Howard, I would assume. So keep an eye on that. And if you have to flex one of them, go ahead. Other than that, your normal cast of flex options. Do expect them to have to throw, so you'd be looking Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Dolphins get blown out.
I wouldn't be.
Cardinals defenses it's come on strong. I mean, I know they give up a bunch of points to Seattle. That is Seattle, and that defense is gaining a lot. There's a lot of confidence there. Tua was asked to do literally nothing last week. Now he gets his first road matchup against a playoff caliber team. 48 and a half, I think, is paying respect to that narrative, as this game could easily be in the lower 50s as an over-under, and people wouldn't watch. I don't hate the over-under. I don't hate even going either direction. I can see the Dolphins just struggling to score points. If they don't have a running game and making them one-dimensional, it's going to let the Cardinals just blitz all over the place. That's how they ended up being Seattle. So I do like the Cardinals spread here. I do agree with you. Add on any money line parlay you're putting together, and then if you want to get cute, you can even tease the alternative spread to maybe a touchdown here and get a little bit better odds.
Yep, I think that you could. For the Cardinals, Hopkins, we talked about Benjamin earlier in the show, so I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on Benjamin and Edmonds because we did break them down earlier.
Yeah, you're playing, as you said, your cast of characters, so you normally would.
Yep. Steelers, Cowboys. Steelers favored by 13.5.
I still feel like that's too low.
Do ya?
And I know Pittsburgh can get up big and coast in this game, but And I know what Baltimore just did to him, on the ground, but Baltimore has a better offensive line. Baltimore is more of a threat at quarterback. Like, regardless of how well Jackson's been playing, he's still a threat. I don't think Cooper Rush is going to scare people. And I think all the attention is going to be given to Zeke and stopping this running game and just blitz and just pressure. I don't even think they need the blitz. I think Pittsburgh wins this game by 3 touchdowns.
No, I agree with that. Pittsburgh's defense, obviously. As far as who you're playing for Pittsburgh, Penn, for sure. Juju is an okay flex play this week. I don't think they'll use Chase Claypool. I don't know that they'll need to use a lot of Chase Claypool in this one, though, if that makes sense. James Conner is really the guy I figure to see a decent amount of work here. I don't expect this game to be anything to where Steelers offense has to go off.
Yeah, I don't like this. Could be Big Ben throws the ball 20-ish times, and James Conner and God, like I know that ride James Conner here, but fuck, Benny Snell could steal. Like I agree with you. You're playing obviously Pittsburgh's defense if you're playing with defenses, and James Conner, like if they're gonna get up big, they're gonna have to score points. But I don't like. It's hard for me to envision Dallas putting up even 10 points in this game. So I would even get cute and take the under even at 41.5. Like I'm not adding the money lines to this. I think minus 100 is too much.
Yeah. For Dallas, as hard as it is to say it, I want to avoid everything that isn't Zeke, and even Zeke, you got to fade expectations for here. You don't know who's starting at quarterback. Steelers defense is good. If it's a Cooper Rush, you're going to see, with that plus a game script, you're probably going to see something out of Cooper or CeeDee Lamb. But I don't love anything here. So unless I absolutely have to, I don't want to touch the Cowboys.
Yeah, and we don't know where whatever target volume comes from this, whatever maybe 15 completions that Cooper Rush may throw will get from this, we'll even go to.
Cooper Rush will be better than Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, let's fucking hope so. Zeke's still going to give you floor, but I agree with you. But you can expect a blow up game here. I think you'll be fucking praying if he gets a touchdown. You'll be on your knees praying that he gets a touchdown. So
yep,
I
agree. Bucks Saints, take the over. Start everybody.
Weather in this one, but just like with Jacksonville, weather could affect this game. Maybe enough where
we'll adjust for that on Sunday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they move it to the Dome, which could help inflate the odds in your favor when you're looking at spreads and over-unders. I like the over call.
Yeah, it's over it's over and start everyone. Look, for the Bucks, if Godwin's back, you got to keep an eye on that. Yeah. If not, then yeah, you go back to Mike Evans, Scotty Miller. You have to keep an eye on health there. Fournette, better the two running backs. You're starting Fournette over Jones at this point. As far as Saints go, watch who's healthy. That's all you can really do there. Michael Thomas plays, it's going to kill Harris and Callaway. He doesn't play, then Callaway and Harris are fine. Plug in flex plays.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see how many people actually get cute and play Antonio Brown. I don't know. Bruce Arians came out and said that there's a chance you could see 15 snaps. And there's a chance you could see 35 to 40 snaps.
Said it probably wouldn't be 60 though.
He said it probably won't be a full slate, which I don't think any of us are shocked by that, anyways.
Don't get cute with Antonio Brown.
I'm going to say don't get cute, but it just feels like one of those games where he'll get 4 catches for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, just don't get cute with it.
Yeah, don't get cute.
Patriots Jets is all that's left. Patriots are favored by 7. Jets plus 270. This is a game they might actually win.
Yeah.
The Jets could win this game.
I mean, I hope they do. As someone who wants to see the Vikings with better odds, I hope they do. I think the Jets cover.
I think they cover for sure. I think they can outright win.
And I want to say they cover. It's gonna all come down to the Patriots, and if they get Gilmore back. Darnold has always struggled against the Patriots.
Is Gilmore going to play quarterback? Because
I mean, that's just going to prevent the Jets from getting fucking shit. I don't even want to be around this game. I'm not going to bet this game. I'll probably live bet it to see what happens. That's probably my best. If you're allowed to live bet like we do, I would wait to see how the game starts and go from there.
nope, just bet Jets.
It's
I'm calling it.
if you're betting Jets,
It's
you
a
gotta go
lock.
money line.
It's a lock. Take the Jets money line.
Jets money line. You heard it first. Hopper lock. Jets money line.
Don't
If I'm doing anything, I will take the Jets spread.
at me.
Over under 42.5. Dude, it's serious in this one. This is the one where you want to live bet because I think somehow these teams can get to it, but I'm honestly on the odds of the under. Spreads are about 10-point different, but don't take the over. And then for fantasy purposes, Damian Harris, 100 yards rushing, touchdown. I haven't heard word if they're getting Edelman or Harry back, but if not, Jacoby Myers again. I think he had 10 targets last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The
The Jets. Good luck.
if Crowder's back, you're playing Crowder.
LaMichael Pirine.
The Michael P. Ryan. You still.
Yep. Okay, that's the slate.
Oof.
Yeah.
I don't like this week for betting. I don't know how you feel.
I don't like the 3 for betting either. There's things that feel ugly. There's things that feel obvious. A couple things that feel great, like the Jets money line, but
I feel the same way about the Texans spread.
Yeah.
And even Washington. I always love seeing plus odds on spreads.
I do too. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got to
We got to review this new Glarus. We got to review the spotted cow. So you got the bottle. I got the can.
So I'll start because that was the one I brought on. Then you'll fill in with what I missed. New Glarus again, brewery out of Wisconsin. Spotted cow. It's a beer. It's pretty much a cream ale. You get it's actually sweeter than what I remember. I don't remember it being this sweet. You get the a very subtle slight skunk at the end to kind of give off that almost lager feel to it. But this is one of the cleanest, one of the better beers you're going to find within this style of beer. You're just going to have to find somebody to get it for you if you don't live in Wisconsin.
Yeah. They don't use corn in this, but I get a sweet corn note off of it, which, as it comes through, again, it does taste like a cream ale, even though I think technically it's
just says ale
not.
on it.
It's just an ale. But there is some sweet corn taste to it as it comes through the middle. Light amount of fruitiness. It's not citrusy. When I say fruitiness, I mean more kind of stone fruit. But you just take a drink. That bite in the middle is what I'm referring to as kind of sweet corn.
I agree. There is. It's got a bit of brightness to it.
Yeah, it's bright. It's got some sweet corn to it. It's very easy drinking. It's unique for what it is. It's a true beer. It's not something that's loaded down with additives or anything like that, but it's very, very good. It is super unique. Cask conditioning helps that. I'm not sure what they use as a yeast strain, but I'd imagine that's where some of the fruity esters are coming from. And they use Wisconsin barley. Like I said, there's no corn in it, but it definitely has a nice kind of malty sweetness to it that is reminiscent of cream ales when which are made with flaked corn. So
I'll say what would give off that? Would that be the malt?
it'd be the malt. I'm not sure what malts they use, but it's malted barley, so it's close. It'd be the malt, and then it is probably a little bit of the yeast as well that helps out with that.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, that's our show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you guys on Sunday morning.
See you guys.
Okay, yeah, I haven't even stopped the stream yet, and I'm still talking.